Okay, so my name is Katie Alexander. I work at Nevada Middle School, and I chose for my research project to talk about the new resources that we got in our math. Well, just in general at school this year, we all got Chromebooks, which is different from what we have had. We have had no technology really. We're a low income district, so we everybody went one to one this year in the district. We all got Chromebooks. So my research question is there a difference in student test scores measured by a summative assessment after receiving video teaching resources made by their classroom teacher, in addition to just having the normal classroom instruction? So what I did, I teach eighth grade math and algebra 1. I made a video for every lesson that I taught and every study guide I did. I posted it to where students had access to watch these videos whenever they wanted. If they were not at school, they could go back and watch the video. If they were at school and didn't understand the homework, they could go back and watch the videos. So this was a brand new resource for me, and I wanted to see how it kind of affected my students and their grades. So I decided to do this as my research question. I used two different years. So I used my data from 2 years ago, which was no Chromebooks, no video resources at all, versus this year they had the video resources and the Chromebooks. So those are the two school years that I looked at. So when I did this, I focused on one test in particular. It was Module 7. So it was at the end of the year. This was one of our last tests that we took. And so for my 2 years ago group, this was just with one of my classes, their average or their mean was an 88%. So then I looked at my average from my Algebra 1 class this year, and their average was a 95%. If I look at my standard deviation, my 2 years ago group was a 7.4, and then this year's group was 4.2, which made my effect size 1.1 ish. So then I made my graph. I made it on Google Docs, I couldn't make the extra lines and everything, so I apologize for that. I'm on a Chromebook, so it was kind of hard to use Word, but you can see that obviously the mean in my this year's group was much higher than my mean in my last year's group. So when you're looking at just the effect size and what this meant for my data, it just means that having those extra videos and the extra resources that we were having this year seemed to have a great effect on their learning and their test scores and improved their average from last year. When you're looking at the limitations, though, it is not the same group of kids. So obviously there is going to be a discrepancy. It's not the same group of kids. All kids learn differently. I wish I could have collected the data from the same group of kids. So that was my limitation that I thought of. But overall, my results, it seems that having those video resources and having extra resources seems to help their test scores. And that is kind of along, like when I looked at my 3 pillars, one of the things that a low income district does not have compared to some of the wealthier districts is the extra resources. So being able to bring those into the classroom seems to help, at least with my students. So that's all I have. It was a very interesting study, and I was very happy with the results. So I think I will continue using those in my classroom.